welcome back to Kim and Robs Homestead. As you can see, I'm sitting in the garden just looking around and planning out exactly what I'm going to be planting for April. April is finally here, guys, and with April we try to put out most of the crops that will bolt in the full heat of the summer so we can get a harvest before it gets to that time. So I do have a few seeds that I do intend to sow in a bed, and I'm going to use the square foot method so that way I can get a small section for each one. That way I'm not overplanting a bunch of vegetables that I know for sure that's not going to succeed in the heat of the summer. So first on my list that I'm going to get in the bed is lettuce. So I have a few different variety. I have a gourmet blend, and this one I'm not familiar with this one. I saw this and I was like, that looks like it'll be really good to put in the garden. And then we have a Vivian lettuce, and for sure romaine. Those are going to be direct sowed in the bed. And then some spinach. Spinach, I recommend soaking the seeds. I always soak the seed before I put them in. So I'm going to be planting this variety of spinach and some fenugreek. That's also going to be planted. Another crop that I recommend planting now, and I always plant just a small amount because they do tend to get out of control. There was one year that I overdid it and they went to seed and all the seeds were all over the garden, and we just saw arugula popping up everywhere in the garden. So arugula is next on my list. Love arugula. It does produce fast, and it is something that is really good in your salad. Another thing that I will be getting started now is my cucumbers. So I have my pickling cucumbers, I have my slicing cucumbers. So I'm planting a lot of pickling cucumbers this year because I want to be able to can. So I'm going to be planting the Burpee's pickling cucumber. I'm also going to be planting a slicing version of this cucumber. So I want to be able to have that, but I do have different varieties of pickling cucumber. So that would be something that is going to be planted this month as well. Another thing that I have to direct sow is my radish. I was not a radish girly, and let me tell you, I planted radish by myself and I wanted to try it. And I think the best way for radish is always just to roast it, put a little bit of olive oil on it with some salt and pepper, and pop it into the oven and let them roast, and they're amazing. So I do have this variety from the dollar store. It's an early scarlet, and then I also have a gourmet blend. So this is two different ones. It's a white one and a red one. So I will be getting those in. I am also going to try the French breakfast one. So there's a French breakfast one. So planting a lot of those. Next that I'm on my list is beets. Definitely going to get some more beets in. Love beets, so good for you. So want to get some of that. This is a personal preference. I like to direct sow my squash. So I don't sow it individually. What I do is I get like a grow bag and I sprinkle the seeds in there and I cover them up, and when they sprout, then I plant them out in the garden. There's no point in me sowing them all over and trying to figure out having to move them later. So I just plant them in one spot, and then I go ahead and relocate them once they sprout. And I've never really had a huge issue with planting out squash, so that works for me. I'm going to continue doing it that way. So I'll show you the progress. I'll let you see when I sow them, so that way you can see how I do it. Not everyone sows the seed the same way, so that's just my preference. I am also going to plant some more Swiss chard. I do have some currently in the garden. You can see behind me, I do have some there, but I want to plant some more. Absolutely love it. And another good veggie that I'm going to plant is spinach. Spinach, I'm going to soak the seed. They're very tricky for me. You have to keep them watered, or just like any seed that you put in, you want to keep them moist so that way they will germinate. And carrots. I forgot to mention carrots. So I will be definitely dropping carrots in a square foot method. As I said, I'm going to be doing all of these in a square foot method in one bed. So that way, that'll be the bed that I'm going to have things that are not really good in the heat, and they're fast producing, like the radish, and it's like 20 something days and then you'll have your radish. So based on the time frame, that is how I'm going to plant them. So that way, by the time I harvest, I know I'll be able to have that bed and use that bed for something else, as opposed to just planting it all over and just wasting space in the garden. I'll be strategically planting them in specific areas so that way I can have space later on to put something else in the area if I harvest everything or if anything decides to bolt. But that is what I'm planting in the garden for April. I will be posting a garden tour once I do a walkthrough of the garden, so you guys can see where the garden is at now, so we can see as time progresses what the garden is going to look like when spring is fully here and it's fully planted. So thank you for coming along with me. Thank you for allowing me to share my garden, and once again, thank you for joining me on this journey, and I'll see you in the next one.